teachers of Reddit, what's the worst parent experience you've had? My mother had been terminally ill for 2 years. She had a heart attack and went into a coma. I lived 500 miles away, so I packed up and hurried through the long journey to make sure I got there before she died. Unbelievably, she hung on for another 4 days, so I was gone for 2 full school weeks. I did all of my sub-plans electronically, and I had an assignment for each day to be turned in by the end of the day. I had one child with an IEP who did jack crap the entire year. Well, you can imagine what he did while I was gone. If you can do less than jack crap, he did less than jack crap. His mother called to speak with me after she saw that he had zeros for the assignments that were due while I was gone. I gently explained the reason for my absence, that my mother had died and that I was not in the classroom to monitor his instruction. Mother proceeds to rage on me. She tells me I don't care if your mother died or not, my boy does not deserve zeros. Curious to know how on earth you refrained from throwing hands. This is my 13th year teaching, and I've had some doozies. I think this one takes the cake though. I had a parent go through the phone book and start calling all of the people with my last name because she was upset that her child may need to be retained for 1st grade. The only reason I knew about this is that she reached my parents, who refused to give her my phone number, and then who called me in a panic about this crazy parent trying to find me. I have a student who does nothing at all and laughs at me when I try to talk to him about it. Parents wouldn't answer phone calls, so I made sure to talk to the dad at parents' evening. Had 120 kids to see in 2.5 hours, so cannot always see everyone. When I talk to his dad, what does he do? Snigger at me like his son does and says nothing else. At least I know where he gets it from. I went to a football game to support my students as well as to meet some other parents who didn't get to see me on open house night. Hi, could you make your class a little easier? We know X isn't going to be anything when he grows up, so we want his senior year to be the best year of his life. He wasn't even a party goer kind of student. Like, damn, the next 70-ish years are just downhill, and I ran into that a lot. You think college is bad? How about these parents are infiltrating the military? We had a kid show up here with a certificate from training that wasn't signed by the instructor. So when he got home on leave, his mom signed it. She thought she was comparable to the instructor. He turned it in, and it was like, who the hell signed this? Oh, my mom, because it wasn't signed. On top of that, she called the command asking his future bosses what she should expect, and they basically told her to cut the cord. She wrote a huge rant in one of the Facebook groups for the base. Everyone on the base knew who he was before he even got here. His mom made his life worse here before he even got here. I'm a private teacher. I teach English and French. Dad brings his kid for the first time. Boss introduces me as the teacher. Dad looks skeptical. I should add that I'm 22. Proceeds to ask me how I'm qualified to work there in a very offensive way. I told him that I finished at the best university in my country and I had a degree in French and English studies. Then he started kind of compensating by saying, well, I too have a language exam, you know. Few months pass by. The little girl is very sweet and she's smart, but it's obvious that her parents don't care to make her learn the words or help her practice, and I can't work wonders only an hour once a week. So dad comes in furiously because his daughter got a C at the end of the term and basically says that his kid is not stupid enough to only achieve a C. True, BTW. So therefore I'm the one who's not qualified to teach, and he doubts if I can even speak English properly. I explained to him that first of all, maybe if I couldn't speak English, I wouldn't be working as an English teacher, and second of all the kid needed was 30 minutes of practice every day, which they as parents were responsible for. Needless to say, I don't teach that girl anymore. My buddy's mom used to work at a daycare in Clovis, CA. She worked in the infant/toddler room. There was this 18-month-old girl that used to put her hands down the back of her pants / diaper and pull out 2 giant handfuls of poo. She'd then proceed to walk around laughing and wiping her nasty feces all over the place. Of course, in horror, his mom and other staff would stop her immediately and begin to disinfect everything. When they told her dumbass mother what she was doing, she just laughed and responded, "That's why we call her chocolate hands." What the hell? Probably not the worst, but one year, when I was coaching middle school basketball, someone's stepdad kind of invited himself to participate in our practices, and he'd mostly just sneak up behind players waiting in line during drills, then get really close to their heads and say, "Put a smile on that face." I teach special ed and have dealt with a wide variety of parents over the years. But my absolute favorite moment happened around this time last year. This kiddo came to school not feeling well. She'd been out earlier that week, asked for a break before she started working. Self-advocacy, yay, and fell asleep in the break space. No big deal. I messaged her mom when her nap hit the 90-minute mark to let her know that the kiddo probably needed to take another day off to get fully healthy and ready to learn. Mom's response is one I never could have predicted and never will forget. "Are you sure she's breathing?" To be clear, this kiddo is a 5th grader with has no medical issues or disabilities that put her at any elevated risk for an issue during her nap. Apparently the mom thought that I was so incompetent I might have mixed up sleeping with a medical emergency. There was a girl that was in my class, and she was incredibly sweet. Some of the other kids made fun of her for the way she talked, and she asked me how to pronounce the word the other kids were making fun of her for pronouncing. I pulled up a dictionary site and showed her the phonetic spelling of something. Honestly can't remember word. It was pretty generally used though, and for the life of her, she couldn't pronounce it the way that is commonly accepted. She smiled and then went home. When her parents came to pick her up, her mom called my principal the next day and apparently this little girl told her mother that I brutally made fun of her for pronouncing things wrong, and only my in-class cameras were able to capture that I was very gently teaching her and correcting the other students for making fun of her. The mom thought that we must have edited the footage. That was my last year teaching. Screw those parents. We usually get parents to drive on field trips. So after meeting with my chaperones and giving them the directions and emergency info for each child they'd be driving, pre-signed by me days earlier, I send the kids off with the correct parent to head to the parking lot and get going. Now one car only could fit 2 car seats, kindergarten, so I had assigned that parent his daughter and one other student. The other student was absent unexpectedly, and as I was preoccupied making sure everything else was in order, I just apologized, but remarked how fun it'll be for just the 2 of them to go together. It was maybe a 15-minute drive. Well, my aide and I finally leave the classroom to head out, and as we're walking to my car, this Porsche comes peeling down the parking lot and turns sharply into a spot facing me on the sidewalk. It made us jump how sudden and aggressive it was. Sure enough, this dad gets out and begins screaming at me as he's quickly walking up to me, gets in my face, fists clenched and shaking at his side, saying how stupid of me to not know that child would be absent and how he can't believe how upset I've made his daughter. He really went on and on about how dumb teachers are and was a crappy school we must have, and it was super scary how angry he was. Literally thought he was going to grab and choke me. His fists were clenched so tightly. After about 45 seconds of him berating me and my aide, and I just standing there horrified, I went to speak to his daughter, watching her father scream at her teacher from the car, and she was sobbing. Honestly, I think she was upset because she was afraid to be alone with him. I should have told him to calm down or else take his child home, but I was so scared that I asked another parent to move one of their students and car seats to his car. The next day the wife came and apologized to me. I can't imagine what he's like in the privacy of their home. Not a great situation, and I feel sorry for his wife and 2 daughters. It was clear through other instances, unrelated to me, but public situations, that he has anger and control problems. I have a student in an honors math class who is too stressed because the class is hard and the parent has requested to my admin that I make it easier. Same parent blasted me on Facebook that they are frustrated their child is struggling and it's my fault for not helping. I have lunch every day with an open door policy for kids to come in for help. I offer before and after school times as well. I answer emails at night when I'm with my own family, walking them through problems and even sending photos of step-by-step solutions. I'm the bad guy though, and the target for her and her friends to blast online. Thank you for watching Internet's Funniest. Please like, share, and subscribe.